Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We'll talk Browns and NFL football. We'll talk traveling Major League Baseball. We'll I'll have a great moment in sports history for you. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. What Major League Baseball player holds the record for most games played with no World Series appearances? I'll have the answer later on the broadcast. Well, now that the 2019 NFL schedule has been released, fans can get a capsule of what the Browns' season will look like, especially the key matchups. Luckily, the season begins with a home contest against the Tennessee Titans, and with that kickoff, it's officially on. In addition to playing every team in the AFC North, home and away, this year Cleveland also has games against the AFC Eastern Division. What does that mean? Well, Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champs, the New England Patriots. That's what it means. Now, if everything that everyone is saying is true about what the Browns should do, about what the Browns should end up like this year, then if you are going to become one of the NFL elite clubs, you have to play and beat the NFL elite clubs. Now, can the Browns become a good road team? Are they going to take over the NFL and go into every stadium on the road, every away game, and every stadium on the road, and steal a victory and become a good road football team? We're going to have to wait and see what happens this upcoming season. And with all the moves that we've made during this offseason, and we do have picks in the NFL draft in the 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, and which is coming up 1 week from today. And I'll get to that in just a moment. Now, let's take a look at each week's games and attempt to assimilate a final regular season record. Now, I have a few of them. I'm not going to do them all, but I do have a few of them I want to take a look at for you. The first one is, of course, Week 1, which will be September 8th, at home versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Browns are blessed that they are not playing a division foe right off the bat and can get some traction going as they do want to. And now the Titans just missed the playoffs 2 seasons ago. And last season the Titans have been a playoff contender, but they just missed the playoffs last year. But they had a great record though, and they are a good team, and I think they'll be a contender for a playoffs again this year. But I think that'll be a win for the Browns. Now, the matchup everybody's talking about, Week 2, September 16th, on the road against the New York Jets, which the NFL is placing the Browns against the Jets in a Monday night game. Now, the Jets are a better team this year with the addition of running back Le'Veon Bell, but they're also entering this year with a new coach after Todd Bowles was fired after a 4-12 season. It's hard to imagine that New York will get much better this year, but they have early picks in every round of the upcoming NFL draft, which should place important players into position in order to contribute right away. The Jets also added wide receiver Jamison Crowder, former Ravens running back C.J. Mosley, which I thought the Browns might have gone for him, but they did not. They got Sheldon Leonard instead. And I do apologize for that, a little bit of dead time. I apologize for that. Now, the following week, in Week 3, will be on a Sunday night game against the Rams. And can they beat the Rams? Can the defense match up against the Rams defense? That's going to be the big test. That's going to be a test there. And that's going to be one of the big challenges for the Browns this year. And that's going to be a 8:20 start. And that'll be an F-15 start against the Jets on Monday night. Now, we're going to shift gear. We're going to go ahead a little bit to Week 8 against the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, the defending Super Bowl champions at 425. This will probably become the biggest test the Browns franchise will see all year. On the road against the Super Bowl champs in their unfriendly confines, placed as the later game, when most folks can only choose between 3 games, so in essence, the entire nation will be watching that bye week just prior to that game. Allowed them added preparation time. This one will be determined in the fourth quarter in the last 4 minutes, as sources say, and could go either way. And the home crowd could be a determining factor. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But that could go either way. It could be a loss. It could be a win. We'll have to wait and see. So that's just a few of the key matchups I wanted to mention. Now, sources and media sources and other sources and fans are saying that the Browns' record will be 12-4 this season. We'll have to see how many games the Browns win this season, but I know they're going to make the playoffs by far, no doubt about it. And they are favored to win the division and favored to win the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. I'm going to believe that the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl when I see it. We're going to have to see what happens with the Browns and what if they're going to be able to be to really compete with these teams and be players and not players as they've been in the past years. Now, bear in mind we were 7-8-1 last year, and I feel the Browns are going to win the season opener this year against the Titans and the game against the Jets. And now the Rams, that could go either way. That could be either our first loss or a win. But we'll see what happens. I'd like to see us start out 3-0 or 4-0 either way. We'll see. Now we're going to have a great moment in sports history. The date is June 14th, 1998. Location, the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. The moment is down by 1 in the closing seconds of Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan drove to his right, pushed off by Brian Russell, and sank a go-ahead jumper to clinch the title for Chicago, the team's 3rd straight championship and the 6th in 8 years. And the impact, the game winner was Jordan's last shot in a Bulls uniform as he retired in the off-season. Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman departed Chicago shortly thereafter, bringing the Bulls' reign to an end. And that is one more. And the Bulls had 6 straight NBA championships, and they were a dynasty team for the decade of the 90s, as you might recall. We'll talk Tribe in just a moment, but right now, it is time for the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. What Major League Baseball player holds the record for most games played with no World Series appearances? And if you said Rafael Palmeiro, you are correct. Rafael Palmeiro played 2,831 games for the Cubs from 1986 to 1988. And the Texas Rangers from 1989 to 1993 through 1999 to 2003, and the Baltimore Orioles from 1994 to 1998 through 2004 to 2005. He was named to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game 4 times, won the Gold Glove 3 times, but never made it to the World Series. I have another trivia question on my next broadcast, so stay tuned for that. The Tribe is off today, but they'll be back in action tomorrow as they begin a 3-game interleague matchup set against the Atlanta Braves at home at Progressive Field. Corey Glover is on the mound for the hill on the hill for the Tribe tomorrow with a record of 1-2, and 2K Toussaint is on the mound for the Braves with a record of 0-1. First pitch at 7:10 on Fox Sports Time Ohio. Excuse me. My final thoughts. We are now just 1 week from today will be the NFL Draft next Thursday, April 25th, and that begins at 8 p.m. And I will be on location for that podcast from the Murphy House, the home of my friends Matt and Katie Murphy. And my special guest joining me for the special Scout Sports 101 2019 NFL Draft podcast will be none other than my really good friend, who's one of my best friends, Matt Murphy. We'll break down the draft in round one. We'll see which team is going to take what player, and we'll break it down to see who we think is going to be the first pick overall by the Arizona Cardinals. And if you think it's going to be the Cardinals' year, think again. So you're going to have to really think again, because it doesn't look like it is. And we'll break down, see who the Browns will take in rounds 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that will lead up to pick 254, Mystery Relevant. We'll preview all the rounds, and I have a recap after the first round, and also after I will broadcast from here the second, third, and fourth round, and rounds 5, 6, and 7 on Saturday. And on Sunday, I will have a complete recap of the entire 2019 NFL Draft, and my guest joining me for that podcast will be none other than my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle, and his cousin, my cousin-in-law, Aaron Hoyle. And we're going to break down the entire NFL Draft. We'll give you our thoughts of who the Browns picked and selected in the draft, and we'll tell you what we think of those players, and we'll just break down also, we'll talk about the regular season schedule and the preseason schedule as well. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. I'll be back with another podcast, most likely on Sunday. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day, in every way possible. So long, everybody. I'll see you on Easter Sunday. And have a wonderful Good Friday. And to all the Jewish people, I want to wish a happy Passover. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.